So there's a lot of components to this literature on racial priming. One of them is that kind of a standard message in this literature is that in the post-civil rights era, political candidates have to be subtle and implicit. Whereas in the 60s, George Wallace could say, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. And he could get reelected governor of Alabama. This sort of thing in the post-civil rights era really can't happen anymore. That's kind of the conventional wisdom. And some of our work is consistent with that conventional wisdom, suggesting that more egregious references to race, more obvious and overt references to race can be counterproductive. And there is some support for that. But I actually think that's a little too narrow. It depends on the way in which race is being discussed. Race can be discussed in terms of adherence to negative racial stereotypes, and I've talked about that already. But it also has an interest group component, that is to say, various interest groups vying for resources. And the discussion in that latter sense can be perfectly explicit and will not generate a backlash. What am I talking about? A politician can run for office and say, I oppose racial quotas. I think they're a terrible idea. And there will be no backlash. Indeed, most whites will embrace that position. But a candidate cannot run and say, I think welfare is a terrible policy because there are too many blacks on welfare. That is a loser. That will not run, not because people are being PC, but because people genuinely think that is inappropriate. But that first example I gave, it's a contested issue. Affirmative action is a contested issue. Being racially intolerant is not a contested issue. That there's a norm in society now which says you shouldn't do that and expect to run for major office.